Hello my Wolfpack and welcome back to another episode of our Pokemon Competitive Guide video. So today we're covering Cresselia, the incredibly bulky Psychic type Pokemon. Now if you've battled against this thing, you'll know that it is incredibly annoying and incredibly difficult to kill. And it does get quite a nice set of attacking moves. Now obviously base 120 HP, 120 defense and 130 special defense means this thing is bulky as anything and it's going to be quite difficult to get over it. I don't know I can't remember off the top of my head if it gets recover. It does get Moonlight though, which allows it to heal itself up. So, you know, unless you're doing like 50% damage plus per turn, then obviously it can just heal off that damage, which is absolutely huge and can be a huge problem for a lot of Pokemon. The only downside really is that it has base 75 in its special attack, which means it is relatively powerless. It does need to set up its special attack stat to be able to take advantage of that, but normally it's not really used in that sense. And then you've got base 85 in the speed as well, so that is fast enough to outspeed quite a few Pokemon, and if you want to go for like a speed special attack investment, that's definitely an opportunity to go here. But as I said, the special attack is a little bit too low to really take advantage of it. So today we've got 3 sets. If you can scroll down, click the like button, also subscribe if you haven't done so already. It would really help me out and I would really appreciate it. So, first set I've got on here is a Carmine Stored Power set. Now, Carmine and Stored Power go together like cheese and crackers. We have got Carmine sets up a special attack and special defense by 1 stage. Now, with your natural bulk, if you want to put Moonlight on here, that would allow you to potentially get to +3, 4, 5, maybe even +6 if you wanted to just kind of stall out, not really stall out, but push out to get as high as possible. Now, with each Carmine you use, you get +40 base power on stored power. So stored power is naturally base 20, but if you've got 1 Carmine up, it goes to base 60, 2, it goes to base 100, 3, 140, and so on. So that stored power, well, as boost by stab as well, can hit incredibly hard even after 2 Carmines. And as I said, if you want to replace like the Thunder Wave on this set with Moonlight, that's definitely an opportunity for you to do. That allows you to be able to live a lot more different hits. You've then got Ice Beam. I've put Ice Beam on here as just a coverage move. Stored Power obviously is going to be your go-to in most cases, but in the case of things like Steel types and also Dark types, you're probably not going to want to go for that Stored Power. So Ice Beam can be a really good coverage. Obviously you can't then hit Steel types for any super effective damage, but typically it is quite difficult for you to hit Steel types unless you run Shadow Ball as a secondary move there. That's the only thing that Cress gets that's able to hit Steel types, so that's potentially going to be one thing that you have to look out for. Now, on this set, I put Thunder Wave. Thunder Wave slows down the opposing Pokemon with half their speed, and also has a chance to fully paralyze them, which can be really helpful. It can support your team, the rest of your team, if you're not wanting to go for a sweep with Cresselia. Because, obviously, if you've got a slower team in particular, that Thunder Wave allows you to slow all of them down. As I said, you can replace that with Moonlight if you want to get that healing up, to set that Carmine Sweeper set up if you want to. Now, EVs, I've gone for max HP, max special attack within modest nature, so more special attack, less attack, and 4 EVs and special defense. If you're wanting to try and get as many pluses in that Carmine to increase that stored power, you could potentially go for a max HP, max special defense stat with a calm nature, so more special defense, less attack, or even possibly go for the max HP, max defense to make this a tanky Pokemon, because if you have the maximum possible defense stat and then raising up your special defense stat, it's going to be difficult to tackle you on both sides, and with especially having a huge natural base defenses. Moving on to the second Cresselia, I have gone for kind of somewhat a supportive set, but again a bit more of a coverage set as well. I've got leftovers on here to allow you to heal yourself up, because honestly, if you can heal off your damage, that's going to be really helpful. Moonlight, again, just as that healing capability, it gives you the opportunity to heal yourself up when you take damage, and not many things are going to be doing 50+% damage to you. I've put Moonblast on here to hit the Dark types, which are obviously going to be a massive pain in the backside, because obviously they are super effective against you. If you get a strong hitting Dark type Pokemon, thinking like something like Zoroark, that potentially could be hitting you really hard. So Moonblast, for have a super effective damaging attack there, could definitely work. I've put Ice Beam on here again because I really like putting Ice Beam, and I find that Ice type has a lot of coverage in general for most neutral, but you could always go for like Psychic or Psyshock as an alternative to that, because Side Shot goes on the defensive. When you've got like a special defensive comes in, for example, like Blissey, you go for Side Shock on that. That's going to do a lot more damage than a Psychic would have done. So that's potentially something that you could consider going for instead of Ice Beam. And then I've put Toxic on here. Toxic is a transfer-only move, unfortunately, and that was kind of one of Cress's best capabilities back in Generation 7, was that it was really good at setting up the Toxic and racking up the Toxic damage on Pokemon. So, if you can transfer it, if you don't need the Battle Ready symbol, you can use Toxic on it. You can start racking up damage on some different Pokemon, and potentially cause them to faint. Obviously, you can't lock them in, so that's not going to be the best thing in the world, but you can also cause problems for them and limit the amount of time that they do stay in for. I didn't mention the ability. The only ability it has is Levitate, and Levitate is a fantastic ability. It gives you a ground immunity, and also immunity to things like Stealth Rocks as well. No, not Stealth Rocks, Spikes. Spikes and Toxic Spikes are the immunity. You obviously do get hit with Stealth Rocks, but not from super effective, so it only does like 12% damage, which isn't too bad. If you can't get a transfer or you need the Battle Ready symbol, then you can get rid of Toxic, and I'd suggest keeping this set as it was and then put a Psychic type attack on it. I think that's probably the best thing that I would potentially recommend. Or even, again, Thunder Wave as an option. Thunder Wave is a really good option in general to work quite well. You could go for like Protect to scout out any moves, even Trick to get items onto different Pokemon. That could potentially be an option. And then Trick Room is even an option as well. So Trick Room to set it up, especially for a slower team. So for example, if you want to get like a Conkin to really take out some other Pokemon, in a Trick Room scenario, you could definitely set that up with Cress. EVs for this one, I've gone for max HP, max special defense with a calm nature, so more special defense, less attack, and 4 EVs in defense. Just allows it to live as many hits as possible. And having a really bulky version. You could go for the max HP, max defense with a bold nature if you wanted to, but that's entirely your choice depending on what your team is already looking like. And moving on to the final Cresselia, I've gone for a Dynamax version of Cress, and this allows you to hopefully, 1, set up your special attack, and 2, get going with some expanding force. So if you can not Dynamax until a couple of turns in, you can hopefully use the Charge Beam to get some +1s in your special attack. I think it's a 70% chance to increase your special attack by 1, which is obviously very good. It is 90% accurate though, so it is less accurate in general, and it is 50% power. And obviously things like ground type Pokemon are going to potentially be a problem for you when you try and use this Charge Beam setup, but with having the ground type immunity, it would have to then go for probably a non-stab, or if it's like a dual typing, you'd obviously have to just look at it and just decide. But yeah, it could potentially hit you quite hard. You've got Moonblast as a coverage fairy type attack, hits those dark types with super effective damage. I'm not sure what it does in Dynamax. I know it's not boosting any of your stats, so I typically don't really use it. Sorry, it sets up the Misty Terrain. If you want the Misty Terrain for any reason, you could definitely use that if you've got like, I don't know, a Flame Orb Melodic, which is trying to get yourself set up. Having the Fairy Terrain could definitely be helpful there too. Moonlight allows you to heal up your health again, because you are going to take some hits with this set. The idea is to get the Charge Beams up, probably then heal, then Dynamax. You can use Max Guard if you need to at any point. You then need to set up the Psychic Terrain. Set up the Psychic Terrain using the Expanding Force, typically on your 3rd turn of Dynamax, and that would allow you to get 4 turns of Expanding Force, which will hit 1.5 times on damage and be boosted by your Stab Psychic, so it hit really hard, especially if you're like a +2 or +3. I have put the Psychic Seed on here to increase up your special defense, I think it is. So it increases your special defense by 1 stage potentially. But you could also use the Terrain Extender to extend the terrain from 5 turns to 8 turns. You just would then have to be cautious what you click on when you're Dynamax. You probably would just have to go for Max Guard twice and then go for the Expanding Force. Or you could go for the Expanding Force initially, but you then lose a couple of turns after you're out of Dynamax for the Expanding Force. So it's just something that you have to think about, think ahead in the match. EVs, max HP, max special attack with a modest nature, so more special attack, less attack, and 4 EVs in special defense. You have that natural bulk. I'd recommend that it'd be fine that you go for the max special attack, but if you want to put it in defense or special defense, that's definitely an option for you. Anyways, that is all for Cresselia today. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, please do like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Anyways, I'm out of here, so I hope you had a good one, and I will see you soon.